Welcome. What we're going to look at today are the 4 levels of rapport. And just to quickly go through them, the first level is non-verbal, the second level is tone, the third level is language, and the fourth level, beliefs and values. And obviously in lots of our relationships what we want to do is to build rapport. We want to get on better with people. And so the invitation is to choose the easiest first. And non-verbal rapport, what that means is starting to notice other people's body language. The way in which they're sitting or standing, the way they're holding their arms, maybe some movements that they have. And if you can start to match their body language, it's amazing how that starts to shift the interaction. Because basically what people are saying in most situations is they want us to be able to understand what's going on for them. There are several ways of doing this, but the starting point is the non-verbal, matching their body language. At an even deeper level than that, you can actually start to match somebody else's breathing. And an example where lots of us do this almost intuitively or instinctively is if we're around a baby that's crying. Now, we cannot communicate with the baby at the other levels, certainly not at language or beliefs and values, but we can communicate with the baby at a non-verbal level. And what we do intuitively is we pick the baby up, we start to walk up and down, we rock the baby, we maybe pat the baby on the back. And we do this at the rate at which the baby's breathing. Because what we're doing is we're showing the baby that we understand what's going on for it at the only level that we can communicate with that baby. What we then do, of course, is we don't want to keep walking up and down, and the baby, of course, wants to go to sleep. So what we start to do is to slow down the rate at which we're rocking the baby, the way at which we're walking, and eventually the baby, hopefully, will fall asleep. If it doesn't, then we speed back up again. And we call this pace, pace, lead. We're pacing the baby's experience, and then once that experience has been paced, we can lead the baby where it wants to go. And we can do the same in our normal, everyday conversations, interactions with people, by noticing what their non-verbal language is, what their body language is, matching that, and then hopefully moving on and pacing it. But of course with adults we can move beyond just the non-verbal. We can also use tone of voice. So if somebody is really excited about something and we're matching their voice tone by speaking very, very quietly, then that's showing the person that we don't really understand, we don't really appreciate, we don't really care about the other person. So one of the other ways is we can start to notice their tone of voice, notice the speed that they're talking, the volume at which they're talking, and start to pace that. So if somebody is excited, we can pace that excitement. If someone's a bit low in energy, we can pace that lowness in energy. Because only when we've paced it can we then lead somewhere else. So if, for example, you are going somewhere and you want to complain about the service that you've had, you're going to be pretty excited about it. And in order to let the person that you're complaining to, for them to show you that they understand, they need to pace that back. So, non-verbal, tone of voice. Then we can move on to language, and really what we did there was we started to explore that with the languages of the senses. So what I can start to do is to notice, in terms of what they're saying, so not just the way that they're saying, which is a tone, but what they're saying, start to listen to their language, and whether they're predominantly visual, auditory or kinesthetic, and then match their language. And it's amazing how just with those 3, and what we've done here is we're pacing the way in which they're talking, not what they're saying, it's amazing how you can start to build rapport with people, because they really do start to understand that you are getting a sense of what it's like to be them in the world and what's going on for them in the world. We'll also be looking at the language and beliefs and values when we start to explore meta programs later on. But for now, I think that's enough about